Hello everybody and welcome to another step-by-step painting class. My name is Dawn. Today we're going to be doing birch trees. It was a request by someone, I believe last week, and I'm happy to do whatever you guys want because I'm doing it for you. I don't care what I paint. I love painting it all. Hello Linda. I see you here. So today I was mentioning in my event page that it can be done in a couple of different ways. We can just use a paintbrush and paint the lines of the birch tree, and that's fine. Or we can use things like credit cards or any kind of similar flat kind of stiff material. These are very old credit cards that I cut up, and I use the edge. We're just going to dip them in the paint, and then we're going to kind of push it along. That would be something. If you don't have this, I will certainly show you how to do it with the paintbrush. What I did, I'm going to do mine horizontally today instead of vertically, which I did for this painting. We usually do it vertically, but you can do it any way you want. It's up to you. But I'm going to do it horizontally because I actually put a line down the middle, and I'm going to do my birch trees across the painting, and then I'm going to do half with the credit cards, and I'm going to do the other half with the paintbrush. That way I could show you both ways. Different effects, basically the same picture. This one printed a little darker, but pretty similar color backgrounds, but just gives you a different effect. So it could depend on what you like, what style you like, or just what materials you like using. So if you don't have these, that's fine. If you have them, we could try both ways, and maybe you could try it on a separate piece of paper and see which way you like better before you do it on your permanent or your main canvas or board or paper or whatever you have. We all have different things, which makes it fun. And again, I love seeing everything you do. Please show me. Good morning, Karen. Show me what you do. I love seeing it. Even if you're not happy with it, I love when people even message me with questions. If you're having trouble with something, I hope I can help that way. Whatever, just have fun. So materials, so something to paint on. I do cardboard as usual, always good to have. Still could be framed. This was last week's. I just paint on the back, so I could get two for each one. Even if you frame it, you can always change it, interchange it, different seasons, different moods, different rooms. Always nice. Your credit cards if you have them and choose to use them. Some paper towels, something to put your paint on. And today we're definitely going to need a pencil and possibly an eraser. And then for paint. Paint is basically for your background. If you want to do something similar to this color, it's kind of a blue-gray, if you will. I don't know what the technical term is for that. And I'm using these paints today just because I didn't reach up. These are kind of right here, so so I paint everywhere. This just seemed easier today. But your basic black, your basic white, and a blue. This happens to be ultramarine blue, but any blue can give you this kind of effect. You can lighten it up by adding more white if it's a deeper blue. Less blue if it's we can always fool around with it. So today we will be mixing some paint, unless you happen to have they make so many these craft paints come in so many different colors that maybe there's already a color you like, and you can certainly use that. Please, again, feel free, make it your own. Doesn't even have to be this color background. It can be anything you want that makes you happy. You can make it more like a sky blue. You can keep it white, make it a plain blue, whatever you want. So please don't just do what I'm doing. Let's look at some comments. Good morning, Danielle. Thanks for joining me. Linda, good morning. Naomi, good morning. Can't wait to try this one later. Very good. Yes, I love that some people, either you're watching now or just pop in a little bit and then always watch the reruns, the replays. You can pause it, rewind it, start it, do it again another day. They will be there. I'm thinking forever. I'm not going to erase them. I'm not going to delete them. Even if I take a break from this page, I'll leave the page open. They will be always there. This is number 12, if I counted correctly. So there are 12 or 11 others that you can certainly look at if you are just joining us for the first time. I also have a larger, thicker paintbrush. I don't know. What is that? An inch, half inch, not quite an inch, and then a thinner paintbrush for outlining the trees if you're using your brush and making the little lines, or you can even fill in the trees if you want. I also have a red. You do not have to. There are these little birds. I guess they're robins. You can make them any. You can keep them black. You can make them gray. You can make them whatever color you want. These are a little more decorative. These are your standard birds. We've done them on other paintings. And then, I don't know if you could see it. Maybe you could see it better on this painting here. There is a heart if you want to put initials in it. Again, up to you. You do not have to. Honey, you want to show? Can we show the painting? Maybe a closer. Look at that. A new thing we discovered. Yes, so if you can see the heart on the tree, the little birds up on top, you can add it. You do not have to add it. Oh, look at that zooming in. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so that is the story. Thank you.
The only problem is, I don't think.
Oh, so while I was talking, they didn't see it?
No.
All right, that's okay. We're learning. It's all right. So that is the situation. All right, are we good?
Okay, we're back.
We're back. All right. Let's see. I'm watching my replay. Oh, there it is. All right, a little close up of the heart and the birds. Excellent. Thank you. That was fun. Good, good. All right, so let's get started. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're just going to draw out the birch trees. They're not going to look exactly like this, even me doing it again. We're just going to try to get just get birch trees. You can cluster some up, you can put some space. Even this one is a little attached, kind of like one tree with an extra branch coming out. Anything you want. Just basically making lines. Actually, last time I said I was going to do this. Where is my, oh my goodness. Here it is. I might use a Sharpie just so you could see it a little better. So you're basically going to make lines, right? Doesn't have to be straight. Oh, this is running out already. Just going from the very top of your page to the bottom of your page. You can even make one that is actually off the page and now you're only seeing part of it, or that could be where your first one starts. And then and they don't have to be, sometimes most birch trees taper off at the top. They get a little thinner, but you don't have to. Whatever happens. Sometimes you're making a line and your arm hits something and it kind of wobbles. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to just try to follow what I'm looking at. So this one comes down thin and then it comes out a little wider. And then there's another one that's kind of on it. So that's the same line, but then it kind of comes out a little bit over here. And again, just make lines. Honestly, it doesn't matter. And as far as these other branches, pointing at something you can't see. As far as these other branches coming out, you can do those. We can paint them in later. We can make just thin branches. We don't have to make them so thick. So if you don't plan it in there, don't worry about it. I'm not going to plan it in because I'm going to show you what we could do later. It's easier. It's not that easy to always plan them in. Then we're going to have another one coming over here. Just a bunch of lines, right? And then there's a space. They're showing a little space between the next tree. Now this one even has like a little David is saying, right-hand people, they can use ink from left to right. That is true, without smudging it, right? It is true. It is a good thing about being right-handed. I guess maybe if you are left-handed, I would have started from this way if I was able to think ahead of time. But that is true. My husband's left-handed. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain. So let's see. So now I'm going to start with this tree over here. Again, I'm not going to worry about the branch. I'm going to do that a little bit later.
David's from Spain.
Oh, David's from Spain, my husband said. Thank you and welcome.
That's our Blues Brothers administrator.
Ah, very nice. The Blues, the page, the original Blues Brothers?
Yes.
Yes, very nice. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Everybody should check out that page, the original Blues Brothers Band Facebook page. Lots of great information, great talent.
He's a great cartoon, a great artist.
And David is a great artist. That's right. Oh, I loved your cartoon. Your drawings. I love them. We have them hanging up. Thank you. And then so I made a little bump here because that's what this showed. I don't know. You don't have to. Just doing it. Coming down here. Then we're going to come up because of the branch. So I'm not going to go all the way down. But if you do, don't worry about it. Paint will cover your lines, especially if you're doing it in pencil. Or we can erase it. Not a problem. I'm coming up. I can make another branch. There was a branch coming out over here. I could do that if you want. Just showing you what you can do. Gonna come up. Then I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna come down. There's another little branch. We could just do this. You can add another one if you want. That comes down. There you go. Okay. Just making lines. If you don't want the branches, again, we can always add them later. Just showing you. I'll add some to this one, showing you what you can do. But it can get confusing with all the lines, so don't worry about it. There's even another one here. Let's see. There's one here, and then there's a branch. I'll make this branch come up because I'm just want to. Then I'm going to have it come down behind that other one. And then it comes, let's see, so it's kind of like behind this tree. There's another branch. It's behind it. And then it kind of comes out over here. See? And then I have more room since I'm doing it horizontal. So I'm just going to make a line. There's a tree. Then I could do another one. I'll have him coming out like this. And then we'll just do maybe one here with the branch like that. There you go. It's just lines, a bunch of lines. Please don't. I know it does get confused. Like, oh, where does this one start? Where's that? Where? We'll figure it out. Not a problem. Not a problem. And even if you make a mistake, it's just paint. We can either go over it or we could just make your mistake work. So we're just going to have fun. So now let's mix some paint. So I'm going to put a little black, a little bit. You can always add more. This is our background. I'm going to have a little more white, I think, than the black. You can always, again, add more. And then some blue. Not a lot. Now, the way I mix, you can use, what are they called? Popsicle stick sticks. You could use the back of your paintbrush, which I tend to always do. Whatever you want, whatever you have on hand. So I'm just going to mix. Oh, if you have a palette knife. Yeah, I have these things. I don't always seem to grab them. I always seem to grab what I have in my hand. So I make a nice gray. I like to mix my black and white first to get that gray. I could see like this, I think might be a little dark, but you never know depending on what kind of blue you have. I actually think I'm going to add just a little more white, brighten it up. I'd rather my background be brighter than, I don't want it to look like a rainy day. So I'm just going to add a little more white to brighten it up. And then that blue is going to brighten it up as well. Might need a little more blue. There we go. Here's a nice color. Getting there. Give it a little more blue. And again, everybody's colors, if you are mixing these colors, they're all gonna and we have different blues, it's going to look a little different. If you just want to mix white and blue to give it just that light, kind of more of a sky blue, you can certainly do that. You can even add a little more white. See, I love buying all the colors in those craft paints like these. I have a whole bunch of them because I just love, every time I see a new color, even if I don't know what I'm going to do with it, if I see a color I like, I buy it. Because when you mix, I'm not a very good mixer. I tend to make way more than I need, and then I feel like I'm wasting it. So I like to buy the pre-mixed ones. I did take color theory classes in college and different things, and I don't know, I still rather buy it already done, because I don't know ratios. Like I don't know how to mix what you need. I'm always doing more than I need. I do that with cooking too. I never follow recipes. I'm always like, that looks like a half a cup. And it's not. Hello, Christian. Thanks for joining. Good afternoon. All right. I kind of like this. This is a nice kind of color. It's also nice when the colors are a little darker, because then the white of the trees, especially if you're going to be doing this, see how it pops so much more. This will tend to be a little more darker when we do it with the credit cards. Because the colors are blending a little more. There's not much contrast of the colors. But again, it's all what you like. And I'll show you. I'm going to do some with the paintbrush. I'm going to do some with the credit cards, and then you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so I just wipe it off, and then I'm going to get started. All right, I'll put these, let's see, I'll put these here for now. I'll put this here. And then I'm going to get my larger paintbrush myself. I got it on there. And then I'm going to just do around my trees. So I know that this is a space of the sky, where you could see the sky. So I'm just going to fill that in. And then this over here was the sky, because I followed the picture, so that was what I did as I get my table. But that's okay for me. If not, I hope you have newspaper or some kind of protection, maybe a disposable tablecloth, because I don't know if you're anything like me, it do get messy. Okay. And then this was a tree. This was a tree, right? See, I'm already getting mixed up. I do know that there was a big space between these. So I'm filling that in. I don't talk much when I'm trying to get lines. Can't talk and make a line at the same time. There you go. Okay, just filling it in. And if you once you paint it, if you feel like it's still too dark or it's just not the color you want, you can always mix your paint again and then just go right over it. Acrylic, if you're using acrylics dry very fast. And if you're also not feeling like you're able to stay in the lines with the bigger paintbrush, use the smaller paintbrush, right? There's all different sizes. I don't know what you have. Some even have the tilt to it. Some are flat. You'll see what you're more comfortable with. I know it's hard to like buy all different kinds if you're not sure because you don't want to spend the money, or you just don't want to have extra things around the house that you're not going to use. There are cheaper ones, less expensive ones that you can always get, and then see if you like. And then once you like them, maybe you can invest in a little better brush. I've bought brushes in craft stores. I'd order them online from larger art supply stores, and I've even bought them in my local drugstore. Just the department stores in the craft section, and they all work fine for me. I mean, I think the better ones last longer, but they all do the job. As long as you kind of treat them. I think the least expensive, maybe you need to like take a little better, well, you should take care of them all, but you should take better care of them, like make sure the bristles aren't squished when you put them away, or don't keep them in the water overnight. Make sure you wash them out with some soap and water. Don't have them hanging out. Some people I know, they have a bad habit of just leaving it in. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, you need also water, of course, to clean your brushes. I know some people who leave it in the water like overnight and stuff like that. And that's not good for any brush, because the water will get in here, and then these will come apart, or it just ruins your brush. I think to me that's one of the worst things you could do. There's times that I even forgot to wash my brush, and if you just put a little that's not good for your brush either. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you do, you could always put a little soap, like dish detergent soap, on it and work it in a little bit, let it sit for a while, and more times than not you can kind of get your brush back to life. Will your brush be the same? Probably not, but even ruined brushes are good for a lot of different things. When they get a little puffy instead of being like nice and flat, they're good for different techniques, or just using different textures on your paintings. So I never throw out my brushes. I have brushes all along my windowsill. I have brushes everywhere. So anytime like a mug gets a chip on it, I fill it with paintbrushes. Old vases. What else do I have? I don't know. Just any jars from whatever, pickles, from salsa, tomato sauce. I got them all over, filled with old brushes, because I feel like even like for glue, sometimes I'll paint glue on when I'm gluing something down and I need to make it more defined. So I'll use an old paintbrush, and I have it. I have a paintbrush already. So now areas like this, you can try to use your big paintbrush if you have patience and a steady hand, or you can just go and get your smaller paintbrush and fill in those smaller areas. Might be a smarter way to go for me, anyways. But again, if you, I call it blurbling. my one of my many words I use. If you go out of the lines, you can always paint over it, so no worries there. There you go. Fill that in. I'm going to do this little area here while I still have paint on my brush. There you go. Is anybody painting with me today, or are we just watching? Are you working while you're listening, or are you drinking your coffee? I don't know what time it is where you are. I went back to my larger brush here. Okay.
I'm just sitting.
You're just sitting. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry for the delay. That was something you said 15 seconds ago.
My husband's talking to me from the other. I don't know what you can hear. You need a microphone in there.
I can talk loud.
Yeah, you sure can. See, and as you get your the color background in, you'll start to see the trees a little better. They'll just start popping out. And then it's not so confusing anymore if you did find it confusing. All right, it's because now I'm noticing I have this one here. Little opening. And then there's this one here. Now I'm just holding my paintbrush upright using the point. This one is one on the angle, but you could probably do it with one that's not angled as well. Just don't put pressure on. You could put pressure to make it wider, but start with no pressure, and then I just keep it in the center, and I gave it pressure, and I filled that whole space in. Linda, I am sort of watching, listening while I telework. Very good. There you go. I like that.
Hi.
Hi.
Since you're talking about trees, I was just wondering if a tree falls in the forest, is it still my fault?
It's always your fault, honey. My husband just said if a tree falls in the forest, and what'd you say, and nobody hears it, is it still his fault? Yes, it's his fault. No. No. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just get my points in there, and then I'm going to give it a little pressure as I go out. And I just wrap it around. And again, if I kind of went over some of my lines, that's all right. It was just a guide. And you most certainly could do it with your marker as well. There's times I've painted, I've done paintings, and then, you know, sometimes it's not so easy to outline with your brush. So I use a marker. The only thing with using your markers on your paint is that they will dry out faster because it picks up like the chalk from, like, it's like almost like a chalky kind of film. So it will ruin your markers faster. But sometimes, especially if it's a smaller painting, you could get it in. You know, get at least one painting in or a couple of paintings in with them. All right, there you go. I think, just doing a double check. Now I'm just looking at this reference. There was also like a little opening here that I didn't do, so I can add that if I wanted to. It didn't go all the way to the bottom, so I'm just going to very lightly, maybe then put a little pressure, and then again lift the pressure up, and I just made a little opening. You can make it as high as you want. There you go. All right, I'm going to wash my brush, and then it's time for the fun stuff. Yeah, Linda, when you say that, like, I love that. I love watching other people either painting or just creating other anything. Could be like with clay or collages or whatever. I love watching that as I'm working. It just inspires me. Or I love listening to some TED Talks and all that stuff. I love listening to that, listening while I work. It helps keeps your mind free. Sometimes when you're trying to focus too much, especially on a painting, you tend to never, I don't know, just is not as free for me. I like to keep my mind a little more open. while I'm painting. Oop, just knocked down my paint. Yeah, so different people, right? Different people like doing different things while they work. Some people need absolute quiet or music. I can do it all, I think. I feel like I could do it all. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so now, see how much paint I still have? But I'll use that on another thing. As like sometimes I'll just take a piece of, I have cradle paddles that I'll just put the paint on. And then I have a background all ready to work with. So I don't really waste my paint. But that's why I don't like mixing. Personally, because I do over mix. My issue I got to deal with. But as far as now the trees, so first we're going to do white, and you could do this one or two ways. You can paint all your trees white, but they will end up drying, especially by the time you get to the last one. We could do one tree at a time. It's up to you. I'm going to show you one tree first. That way you can get an idea of what I'm doing. And then, or feel free to do it along with me, but I could show you a couple of ways. So first I'm going to use my large brush again. I'm going to get some white paint, and I'm going to fill in that tree, the whole entire tree, with the white paint. Again, try to, stay in your lines, but if you go out, it's no big deal. Covers right up. Now sometimes this is good to keep the paint wet, to do it while the paint is wet. Then you can get a nice blend, but you also might like it. Maybe I'll do a couple. Maybe I'll do one while the paint is wet. I'll do one while the paint is dry. And then you could see the different ways it goes on. They're all really great ways of doing it. Different effects. I'm going to fill this one in as well so that I can show you the different. I'm going to try to leave that black line, but again, if I cover most of it up, I'm going to go over and make it crisper, more crisp line. Okay. All right, so there you go. Now I'm going to wet this one again, just get a little bit more on there just to get it wet. And then maybe when we're done with this one, the other one will be dry. All right, so then I'm going to take my credit card. Now we're going to need some black paint. And I'm going to kind of, you can make a line, or we could help move it. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take the end of my card, see, so we can make like a line. So you're just going to kind of like drag it in there. You don't want a whole glunk, so I like to at least put it down on my plate once to get a little chunky off. And then you're going to hold it on the end of your tree, where the tree ends. Put it down, and then you're going to pull it across. Is that cool or what? This is fun. Now you can do it a few times, either with the same one. Hi, Mom. Or you can dip it in again. You're going to do it again. Now I go right where it ends. So I'm going to go right up there. I'm going to put it on the line. I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to kind of put it on an angle, and then I'm going to drag it across. See how it kind of does different things. So your pressure, your angle can change. I'm even going to flip my card because I think there's more paint on this side. You can actually give it a little swoop, so you get the idea of the tree being rounded, not flat. So I'm going to kind of go down and up, kind of. There. So I'm going to kind of push it down, then I'm going to bring it across, up. Now, you can also now do it on the other side of the tree. So from there, see, now I wish I was a left-handed person. Might be easier. You don't have to do it in every spot. Just do it in where you want it to be a little darker. You don't even have to do it everywhere. You want to keep some white. You want to keep some a little darker. See how I'm kind of swooping it? It gives it a little bit of a round effect. There you go. Then, now, another way of doing your outline of your tree, you can just get the paint on your card and then just hold it upright and give it a line. You're just kind of like a stamp. Now, if you don't get it exactly on the line, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it everywhere. Maybe you don't even want to outline it. I think I definitely want to do it where the trees are touching, because that would be a little darker area, a little shadowing. There you go. There you go. Pretty cool, right? Now, this isn't fully dry, but I could show you. Where do I want to start? I want to start here. So I'm just going to pull that, arch it in. Maybe I'll do this one on this side, arch it up. And then, so again, I don't want to cover all the white, so I'm going to kind of, you know, put the pressure in different areas, alternate sides, like that. And maybe one right here. There you go. One line. Oops, see? Now, see? I don't know if you can see that. My card just slipped. And can you see? I went into where my sky is. Now, we could do one of two things. I can make that a branch, or it's a good thing I mixed a lot of paint, and I can always go over it. I would wait till it dries, so I don't smudge it, but it's not a problem. But it happens. I also, every once in a while, would recommend wiping off your paint so that it doesn't get too gloppy and messy. So how's this? Is everybody doing good?
Yes.
Or just enjoying the process?
Huh?
Yeah. All right, there you go. Now, while I'm talking about branches, I could show you we could do it with the paintbrush, and I will be doing that, or we can do it with your credit card. So you could just do the line with your brush, with your edge of your card. Just use it like a pen.
You accept Visa and MasterCard?
I do. Linda says awesome. Yes, I love this. I used to do a lot of birch trees. I have several paintings of birch trees. My hair, sorry. Several paintings of birch trees around. I had a lot of fun doing this. So as far as like a branch here, you could do a couple of things. You can get your white paint, and you can actually draw in the branch that's behind the tree, and then we could go over it with the black, or you could just, like I showed you down here, just do a little stick kind of branch. And if your card is too thick, you could use the corner, or you can even cut. I don't know where all my credit card pieces went. I have a whole box full. Somewhere, but I couldn't find them. So anyway, all right, let's move on. I'll do this tree with. Well, maybe I'll paint the. I'll show you what it's like to paint in the black. Let's see. Now don't forget, you could do this painting horizontal, vertical, whatever you want. Depending on if you're planning on hanging it, where you're going to want it, where it's going to fit, can go any way. There you go. Now having the paint, the white paint wet sometimes helps blend, smudge the black in there a little bit better, but I don't know if this one was fully dry when we did it. I was going to paint it in. I think when you paint it in, you need it to be fully dry, but we'll try it. Let's see. You're just going to, so that would be this one. We're just going to like make like little things coming out, little dashes, maybe a little too much. So I just kind of, you can make, it's kind of like a sideways triangle. Yeah, this is a little wet, so some like dashes, like little, put them on like a little bit of an angle. Just little swoops. So yeah, these should be more dry when you do it this way. See, that would be how we would you would draw it. I mean, you'd give it more time. I just kind of did it fast. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all of mine white. That way, when I get down here to this end, there'll be the white will be dry, and then I'll paint more in. I think because these, in order to do that, you need the paint to be dry. So let me paint all my white in. Branch here. Also with branches, like the thicker ones, you want to have it look like it's attached to the tree. So you're going to kind of come down on an angle like that, and this is going to be kind of arched almost up. You could see that, how I did that. So so the bottom of the branch is going to come down so it's more adhered to the trunk, and then this one is going to kind of swoop up more on an angle. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let's see. Let me get all this, and then I had this little one sticking out over here. A lot of people in my neighborhood are getting their trees cut down. I don't know if you can hear. It's been going on like all week. I guess it's the season. Get your trees trimmed and cut. So I'm just going to fill all these in with white. And then, that one was supposed, that's all right. I think that was this one. That's all right. That's all right. I think I got confused. But we'll make it work. Right? No mistakes. You make it work. Okay. Again, if you don't want to use your fatter brush to do this, then you can do it with the thinner one. Whatever you're more comfortable with. It is a little more harder to stay in the lines, especially when you're going around things with the thicker brush. But it's fun. It's fun to try to make it work. All right, so I'm just going to go down. The straighter ones are so much easier than going around all those branches. go. Okay. A few more to go. Okay. One more. Can I do it with, I have like hardly any paint left of white. Can I do it without adding more? We'll see. Probably not. Let's do this branch. I'm going to add some other branches with the black for detail at the end. And I'm going to need a little more white. Almost made it. Almost made it. I still center there. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, clean my brush. I kind of like it horizontal. It's funny how it, I mean, if you do it vertically, you're going to have these really nice long trees. Especially if you add the bird to it, different things. You'll have more, not more room, but more like maybe you may want to make your trees thicker to fill in the space a little more. It's up to you. All right, so that's that. And then I'm going to go back to my credit card. What was the one I was using? Doesn't matter. Oh, got it. Is this the one I was using? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay. So then I'm going to try to get black on the tip. All right, just dipping it in. And I'm going to put it on the edge of the tree, and I'm going to kind of swoop it up. You can alternate sides, swoop it up. You don't want it too goppy. Not too much paint, not too little paint. Put it on an angle more than others. Like, so sometimes maybe put it on more of an angle, maybe on another swoop, don't put it on so much of an angle, you get different pressure. Alternate your sides, your left side, your right side. Oops, see, that was a lot. It's all right. And you could do, I don't know, I don't think I want to, maybe right over here. Define your edge a little bit more by just holding it straight up and down, lining it up, push and lift up. How's that? Now I'm going to show you, so like if you want to add just branches or define the branches, you're just going to use your smaller brush. You can also add other little ones, even some white if you went over most of your white. There you go. Then I did one down here. This one I did with the credit card, the edge of the credit card. Make that swoop. See?
It's hard to see what you're doing. Your hands covered.
I'm sorry, my big hands. Here, I'll lift it up. Yeah, I made that branch up there. I made another little branch over here. I just added some white and black. I'll do another, when I do the, here, I'll do a branch here. I'm going to get a little black on my brush. Let's see. We'll make one stick out here. Can you see that? Let's see. I'm going to come up like this. Very little bit pressure. You can make it come out all different.
Yeah.
Is that better? I'm just doing that. And I'm going to put a little bit of white on it. And I'm going to go right over. I'm going to go right over what I did. Pull it up. Kind of blurble, but it still looks okay. See? You can add, make it as thick as you want, as thin as you want. Let's see. I'm going to just darken where it meets with the little swoop. That's it. That's a branch. You can put them anywhere you want. Let's see. I don't even know where I'm going to. Actually, I'm going to make a branch coming out here where I'm going to put my birds, because let's see. I'm going to paint it white first. So let's see. I'm going to have it come out like right about. Let's see. Right about here, and I'm going to have it come out like this. I'm going to thicken it up like this. Got a little black on there, but that's okay. So I'm going to do it again. Go over it just to brighten it up. Maybe have one come out like that. And then I'm going to get my credit card. Now, I'm going to actually take this one and I'm going to cut it smaller. Another little piece. So I made a very little piece. I'm going to take that straight edge. That way I have more control. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go on the edge and I'm going to pull it kind of around. Use my, I know you can't see. Why is my big hand in the way? I'm going to go like this. See, I'm just pulling it. Maybe a little swoopy. It's hard to do it. And I'm just going to use the edge of it and I'm just dragging it to make that. There. See? Was that better? Or was I still in your way? I don't know. I don't know what I did. Okay. Make sure you wipe your paint off, because if your paint dries, then you won't have that straight line. You can always scrape it off or use a little water if you do, or just get another credit card if you have them. There you go. All right. Then you can always define it more. So you could get your thin brush again, and then just I got the white on there. And then just go around, you know, to give it that it's attached to the tree more. There you go. That's where my birds are going to go. I'm sorry, my big hands. I think we need another camera on the side. We need another camera. Yes, I think everyone is so busy. Yes, I think everybody just likes listening to me chit-chat while they do their own thing. That's fine. It's all good. I'm having fun myself. All right, so now you're going to do it in. So now this paint is all dry. So definitely I could feel the difference. I don't know if it matters. That's where I had my little thing sticking out. See, I just even like, you could just drag it down and make the line. I just play around. So I'm not going to go, I'm going to go there. I need more black paint. See, I kind of swoop it up. My hand still in the way? I'll do it like this. So I'm lining it up on the line, and then I'm swooping it around. There we go. Now when it comes to the where these two trees meet, you want to make that swoop. We're going to lost my other picture. We're going to define that. See how there's more lines. Let's see. It's just like between your fingers, how there's like a line where your fingers. It's the same thing, kind of like a shadow. So I'm going to bring this a little further past it, past where it ends, and then I'm going to do that swoop like that. See? And then that makes it look like a separate kind of branch. Then you can also, if it's easier, use your thinner brush and then go around it. You can even use your brush to push it if you want. That was a little too much paint. There you go. Okay. And then you can continue with your card. All right. I think this is such a great effect. Like, who would ever know that you could use a credit card to do this? I'm not even sure where I got it from. Could have been just another person on YouTube or another artist somewhere. I used to teach kids a lot, so we always used found objects to, you can use plastic forks, you can use those peanut styrofoam things from your shipments, or you can use we've used the Q-tips. We've used so many different things make really cool effects, and you would never know it was you used a fork or something. I mean, there's palette knives. I have it somewhere. There's palette knives that actually have little jags on the edge of it to like scrape and make those lines. But people use forks, like plastic forks. Really cool. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But you can use anything. You don't need to buy expensive tools to do similar effects. Maybe it is better to have like a professional tool, but you can make it work. If you're just having fun, what does it matter? All right, so I'm going to try to do this one. I'm just kind of making that, oops, see, that kind of blurble. So you know what? I'll make it a little longer. Okay. And I'm going to pull it. There you go. Do it with this one. Maybe I should use the smaller one. I always take risks. Go. This one. So I make my line with the credit card. And I can pull it. Now, if you think you did too much black, you can always wipe your paint off, dip it in the white, and do the same thing. Yeah, changes it all up. Gives it a little more of a... I think I'm going to use my pen, my smaller brush, my paint, and just do that line there. Pull it in. There you go. Just fooling around. Let's see. David says, trying to find objects that would make your stuff work is part of the fun of it. It sure is, David. It really is. It makes you start thinking so differently when you look at things you might have thrown out, like garbage, and then you're like, ooh, I can use that to paint, or I can use that in a project, or I could, break it in half and now it's something else. I never look at anything the same way. I think that most people do. my kid, when they were younger and they were in the car with me, my kids would cringe when I'd start to slow down when I'd see things on the curb that people were throwing out. Because I'd always be like, ooh, let me take that, because I could just use the legs of it, or the knobs, or like sometimes dresser knobs are so decorative. You can use those as stamps. They make really great, or in clay or in paint or anything. Like, I don't know. It's just the way I look at it. All right, let's continue. I think I'm going to do all my branches first. So I'm going to just follow that line, push it in a little bit. Whoop, got a lot of paint on that. There you go. Okay. So if you do get a lot of paint, just scrape it again, or go back with the white. Not a problem. Right, I'm going to get my larger one. I'm going to come in here. I don't know. Do you find that you like it when the white paint is wet, or when the white paint is dry? I don't know. I think they're both okay for me. But I think when it's wet, it glides, it kind of pushes better. But it's fine either way for me. Danielle says, same here, always doing it, even with granddaughter. Yes. Right? Always, God, so many great things that can be used or refurbished or reused in a different way. Yeah. Makes for a cluttered house, though, I tell you that. Or cluttered studio, if you're lucky enough to have a studio. I really love the credit card myself. I love this effect more than doing it with the brush. I love the simplicity of this. It's more kind of like oh, I got paint on it. What is it called? Like a pop art or a modern kind of version of it. This is more almost realistic. So I guess it would depend on what you like. I'm a realistic painter, so I tend to go for the more realistic type of things. It is always fun to make things more sharp and pop. It is a beautiful picture. You know, I guess it depends on what you like. I really like them both. As far as me painting, I feel more creative doing it with the credit card. It just seems more creative to me. But again, everybody's different. Everybody likes different things. You like it better than the reference. Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, the reference picture, again, I did this. So there you go. You know, it all comes out different every time you do it. But it also, I think, printed out dark, very dark and gray, a little muddy. Didn't look as white and crisp. It came more yellow and black instead of like a white and a black. So it wasn't the best copy of it. Unfortunately, I don't have that painting anymore because when I closed my studio, I kind of had nowhere to put a lot of things. So I kind of gave some of the paintings away. So that's why I couldn't get a better picture of it. But yes, it does come out different every time. Every time you do it. All right, I'm going to get this branch here. Try to get it. Did you say something else?
No, talking myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So there you go with that. Oh, this goes down. This is attached to this tree. See, I'm getting it mixed up. So that goes there. See? I don't know. I'm all mixed up myself. I think I'm actually going to extend that. Extend this one. Maybe add another branch here. I don't know, I just fool around. If I don't like it, you know what I do? I take that color that I mixed and I go right over it, right? Get it right out of there. Not a problem. Not a problem. All right. Sorry, I'm going slow because I'm really enjoying this. I don't think I'm really going to get to the other. If anybody needs me to show you how to paint them in again, let me know. Other than that, I might just keep going with this. I really like this, the way it's coming out. So yeah, I just alternate sides, swoop it up, different pressures of the angles. Let's see, I don't know, if you don't have a credit card, what else can you use? You can use, you could probably even use like a piece of cardboard. Like, I'm trying to think what's like a, like if you, when you finish with your roll of like your foil or your saran wrap, maybe you could take a piece of that cardboard, or if you have packages, any kind of, any cardboard would work. The thinner, the better. The thickness. So like something like this, I think might be a little too thick. But maybe like a poster board. It is a little flimsier, but if you just try to use your fingers to hold it more taut, could work. I don't know. You got to experiment. You know, try different things. Are you saying oops to me? Yes. Oops. I blurbled. That's all right. Or did you blurble? That's all right. So yeah, like, so if you don't have a credit card and you're using something else, or you know of another thing to use, please write it in the comments. We'd love to hear different ways of doing things. I love to try different things. I don't know it all. I only know what I know. So I would love to be inspired by other people and hear different ways of doing things, other ways that you've done it. If you've never tried it, it might be a great thing to do for another project. Right here. Yeah. So I'm just alternating sides, alternating pressure. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to just do this last one this way because I really love it. I really love it. I could certainly show, if you need me to show you how, to do it with the paintbrush, I'll be very happy to do so. But I think I'm going to continue to do it this way right now. Maybe I should use the smaller one. Oop, a little. See, I made it go over the line, but I'll add another branch to it. Okay, I'm going to wipe this off, and then I'm going to dip it in the white. Not too much white, and then I'll go over it, okay, and then it smears it. Here we go. All right. Let's see. So this is, even though this is the edge of the tree, I mean the tree's kind of going past that. I'm going to just kind of, I'm actually going to just pull it in from the side. Gives it a different effect. All right. Let me clean this off. I like it. I think I say that with all my paintings, right? I like it. You know why? You know why I like it so much? Because I'm having so much fun. Like, I enjoy it. So even if it's not the best painting, I liked having fun. It's very peaceful to paint. It's very relaxing. I'm not thinking of anything else. So if you want to stop thinking about things, it's always nice to paint. All right, so we just have our birdies. So we've done birds before, if you painted with me. Just going to look at them as shapes. I'm going to do a little birdie right here. All right. So a bird's body is kind of like an oval. Right? Whoop, sorry. An oval. A circle for the head. Right? Then if you want to show the beak, it's a sideways triangle. And then the just a line going down for the feathers, a parallel line, and then maybe make it a diagonal. Right? So shapes. Oval, circle, triangle. I guess you could call it a lopsided rectangle. Actually, there's a name for one of those that you do, the two slanted lines on the side. I don't know. That could be whatever shape that's called. That's the tail. Then you're going to do, if you're going to do two birds and you want them facing each other, you can do the same thing just on different angles. So make your ovals kind of tilt to the other side. Oh, I didn't space very well. Circle there, put the triangle on the opposite side, and then whatever shape that was called, we're going to do the tail, right? That's it. A little neater. I was kind of wobbly on my uneven plate here, but that's the gist of it. Shapes. Look at it as shapes. You want to do it in your pencil first. By all means, do it in your pencil. I'll do it in my marker. Ooh, I have a red marker. I'm going to do my red marker. All right, so shapes. Here we go. So we're going to do an oval. We're going to have this oval kind of leaning into one side, possibly leaning to the right. The other oval leaning to the left. We're going to do a circle for the head, right? Then that whatever shape that was that we just said for the tail. All right, and there you go, your two birdies. They look like they're touching. I did them too close. They're kissing. We don't even need the triangles. There you go. Then I'm going to fill it in with the red. I could still use my marker. And then we could just do, we'll put a little white to give it a little highlight. Oops. See? My hand is, see? I'm right-handed and I still made a mess, David. All right. I mean, you can go slower. I'm just going fast because I know we're already over an hour. I had too much fun with this. So then I'm just going to put like a little white right while it's wet. Let it blend. That's it. Then if you want, you can outline it in black. I like outlining. I tend to do that. If you want to do the tree, you're just gonna, my trees are pretty dark. Let's see, you can even use your marker if you don't want to use your paint, but then you could just make your heart. Right, maybe outline it in black, white, just to give it a little pop, so it stands out a little more. Whoops, very messy. I'm trying to rush. Shouldn't rush. Take your time. Dave said the birds wouldn't exist anymore if you were using the left hand. That's right. They would be one big smudgeroonie. Yes, that is for sure. And then you're going to put your initials. So I'm going to put D and T. I think I just ruined my brush because the paint was wet. And then I'm going to actually go over that with white. D and T. Because my paint is wet. And I'm going very fast. I'm going to have to go over that when it dries. I keep making a mess. Anyway, D and T. All right. The birds. I'm going to just give it a little something with the black. just to kind of, whoops, not really outlining it. It's wet, so it's kind of blending. There you go. You brighten it up. Make them as big as you want. I kept them small. So see my birds and my D and T, Dawn and Tom, me. Tom, me. And there you have it. My birch trees. Oh, I don't like that I messed that up. I'm going to have to wait for it to dry. All right. Anybody have any questions? Again, want to see them? Oh, here, I'll fix this for you. Because I did make a mess here. Right here. See? It's fixed. It's fixed. All fixed. What is this? All fixed. See? Anything is fixed. Voila. All right, nobody has any questions? I would love to see them. I want to see your ideas. If you found this fun, easy, hard, other ways of doing it. Maybe you didn't have a credit card. Would love to see it. You guys inspire me. I hope I'm inspiring you. Hope you enjoy your week. It's Monday. Hope to see you throughout the week on my page. And don't forget, I have my morning chit chat on Friday, 11 o'clock, same time, same place, same page. Danielle says, thank you for another fun Monday. Thank you for joining me, Danielle. I really appreciate it. I really have fun. I really do. And I hope you do also. All right, everybody. See you next week. Happy inspired. Bye.